Hello and welcome back to the Great War Western Front. We are here with one final, hopefully, attack on Verdun. We have our group in Longeville, who is ready to move forward to Verdun. That's down to 1 star. If we can be successful in this assault, Verdun will fall and it will be ours. This will be a huge blow to the French. We spent basically all the money we have, put some extra supplies, expanded our supply depot. So we're throwing everything we have into this one attack. I forgot which map this is on. This is going to be a tough one to conquer here. And just looking at the forces I have, I'm not sure if it's going to be worth it to push through or not. So let's see, their front line's weak. We can get into that front trench. Is this a communication trench? Yes. And these are immune to all except fire, undermining, and siege artillery. We have siege artillery. However, it's 200 supplies each, so absolute max we can get off 4 of them, and that's if we use basically no other supplies the entire battle. So let's start just hitting these front lines, getting them worn down. And I'm going to hit these back lines with some light artillery. I know it won't do a ton of damage, but it will weaken them a little. These front lines are taking it quite hard. They're not going to last long. Here, let's see, not even a single casualty between these two. Actually, oh, there's a couple. So we got a couple of raiders down. These raiders are tough when they're in trenches because they're great at hand-to-hand combat. So we'll wait until our artillery is reloaded, which will be soon. And I'm trying to be careful with my supplies here. If I think I can get around one of these emplacements, but man, there's so many of them that it's going to be tough to capture all of these. I wonder if that's an intentional design by the designers here, that it's just not possible to capture these heavily fortified territories. You've got to kind of work around the edges and just attrit them. So our siege artillery took out their emplacement there. Alright, so we've got a little bit of fire coming in. Not a problem. So let's plan this. We'll have our, what's it called? Light artillery do a rolling barrage and just get our guys right across into these trenches. I don't usually like to go right to trenches, but we'll see. I have a feeling this won't go well, but I want to try it. And these emplacements up into my right, they're going to be a problem. So I'm going to try to hit them with something as soon as they... Ooh, that is close. That's way closer than I would like to be. Get in there. Yeah, I think now is about the time to start suppressing them. I think with one heavy barrage right in the middle, that should do it. And we'll hit these riflemen as well, so that they are suppressed and won't be able to fire back at our guys. And let's make sure these guys have trenches assigned to get to. Whoa, we've got to get out of range of those flamethrowers quick. We'll get some light artillery suppressing them. Throw some light artillery over here and make sure we're suppressing. But we should get a sizable number of troops in these trenches where they can dig in and hold ground. So there we go, we've got a foothold around C. We're taking fire from this emplacement, but I think we'll be safe once we get in this trench. So we're going to start taking some fire from these guys. They've got two good melee units here that are going to rip right through our regulars. Not a chance we hold that. Don't know how these guys managed to survive outside the trench for so long. And we got a mortar here. 2 mortars giving us trouble. I'll hit those to make sure they stop. Only lost 3 units there. That's pretty good. Pretty solid for us. I actually didn't do a lot of damage to those mortars. So that's a bit concerning. So they have a slight victory secured here. And man, we've already burned through a ton of supply. I think I might just try to secure a couple more retreats to get some points, maybe move us back toward a stalemate. Just trying to see where, where there might be some quick wins in this battle. This is not going how I expected it to, so let's call it here. No reason to keep pushing forward in the attack when it doesn't advantage us anymore. So here we go, a minor loss, not a big deal. We can deal with that, no problem. There, they got 1 national will back. We spent 400 supply, which is rough. But the most important thing is we kept pressure up on Verdun. So they won't get their stars back next time. And this is worth 20 national will. Let's see how this shapes up next turn. They chose not to attack us on their turn. Death in the air. I'm gonna have to go focused here because I don't have the gold for it. We can take the national will hit. That's not a problem. Swift Iron, defeat 3 Whippet tanks. We'll have to find 3 first. And they're now back at their full morale in Verdun. So we've got 3 research points. Faster movement speed for our soldiers. Let's see, grenade boost. Not too worried about those. What do we have here? Balloon busting. Observation balloon improvements. More base health. Pilot housing. Stat efficiency. Those aren't super impactful. Undermining. That could be helpful. And also we have chlorine gas. I think both of those are likely candidates for us. We have the repair team. Then going over to the side, each turn we get 1,600 gold reserves. We can increase our supply cap, increase the purchase ratio. I think that's what we need because we're running low on supplies. So it takes us from 200 to 250 supplies per 500 gold. And we need to at least keep the pressure up on Verdun. So I think... Let's see, I can't remember which regions are the best to attack from. I know Stenay is good. So I'll just attack from Stenay. And if we can push through, we push through. If not, then... we at least kept them from regaining a star. this is the map we like. We have a really, I don't know if I want to call it developed no man's land, but it is a quite beaten up. Let's see, we can't place undermining here. Where can we place our undermining? Oh, that's right, we didn't buy it. That's why. That makes sense now. So I've usually attacked an A on this map, because I feel like this angle in B is going to allow them to put a lot of fire in our troops, where this straight line in A gives us a much better place to attack from. So I'm going to stick my observation balloon over here. I think that's what gives us the broadest field of view. And make sure my artillery can cover a pretty wide chunk of the battlefield. Let's get 2 heavy batteries here. My light batteries I need to have a little more focused because their range is shorter. So we won't have light artillery going to the right. Now we have a lot of troops here. We brought in some more companies last turn, or more corps, I guess. We've got regulars, we have elites, and then of course our raiders and stormtroopers. Let's get some regulars across the rest of the line just to make sure we hold. Don't lose due to anything stupid here. Never have just one line of defense, because if they take that, you're cooked, and then your reinforcements have to come up under enemy fire. But I think we'll be good here. We can fill in with some elites. And we've got 2 companies left. Let's get a tank here. And then maybe one of our light machine gun tanks as well. So, do those actually place? There we go. I wasn't sure what the problem was there. There we go. Alright, we got our artillery, got our tanks. Let's roll. Balloons up. Let's see what's going on. So we've got mortars here, 3 mortars. I'm gonna take a shot with my bomber and just see if they're gonna do anything about any of these 4 mortars they have on the right side. They're sending their standard suicide attack that we see. Every battle, pretty much on this map, it seems like they send one wave of 3 companies at me across no man's land, who just gets instantly decimated as soon as they get within rifle range. And that's happening across the front here. Now, if they launched a serious attack against this front, I would have some trouble, because I'm so lean here, but luckily it was not serious. Now, if we zoom in on this one, these look pretty dug in. They're field mortars. But seems like an upgraded version, maybe. That maybe gives them a little more protection. So I'm gonna hit these guys with artillery. See if I can damage them enough. Throw it on double speed. Looks like we're gonna be close, but not quite, for finishing these off. Oh wait, I'm not in a rush. Thought I saw this mortar moving, like they were gonna had something to shoot at. Alright, this last round of heavy artillery should do the job. Let's see if the light does any damage here. I've got a lot of troops moving, so I'm just gonna start throwing artillery this direction. See if I can hit any while they're in the open. And it doesn't quite look like it, honestly. Despite having companies in the open, the light artillery just don't make too big of a dent. And I think those mortars can do some damage to my tanks. So I don't want to risk that. I'll hit this trench with heavies because they are pretty solidly in there. There we go, it's another mortar position down. Alright, so now we have our mortars reloading. Or our artillery reloading. Let's plan this attack. I don't know exactly where I want my tanks to come in. I don't want them to be first, because then they start taking a lot of rifle fire and get damaged quick. But they also do give my troops a morale boost and cause a morale penalty for the enemies. So trying to assign troops to trenches last time was a disaster. This time we're going to send them to spots. Let's make sure they're all assigned somewhere. Get our vets in the back. And let's get our tanks moving up first. I'll move my faster tank slower so that they don't get out ahead of everybody. There we go. Nice big attack moving for us. They are hitting us with artillery. Not much I can really do about it other than keep moving. And then try to gauge when I need to start my artillery fire. Let's see here. I'm going to start with a heavy barrage on this front trench. That's going to be the one causing the biggest problem for me. I'm going to wait a little more to start with the rolling barrage. There we go. Let's start here. And then do another rolling barrage here. This should be a good combination of smoke and cover for my guys. There we go. So our tanks are now firing. We're getting close. I'm gonna stop and then start assigning guys to trenches. Let's make sure that everyone has somewhere to go, because we don't want to just waste these attacks. And we still have more coming up in the back. So if these guys somehow make it up, I'll be very happy. I just don't see it happening. Let's see what we got. So we should have a pretty good amount of momentum here. I'm going to try to keep fire up on these back lines so that they can't just freely shoot at my guys. There we go. We've got a lot of territory conquered here. We've got some trenches that we own now. When this unit fails, we can... Let's get our Whippet tank out of the way. I guess it's not a Whippet. Whippet was, I believe, specifically a French design. I could be wrong, though. I'm not going to claim to know the most about World War I tanks. I am a military history nerd, but that's not an area I know a ton about. So there we go. We've got a pretty solid foothold here. I'm going to pull my tank back because I don't want to take extra rifle fire like I am right now. Let's get this tank out of the way as well. These tanks we've got are going to be providing nice morale support for our troops. There we go, we've got that mortar position destroyed. And then let's drop some artillery fire on this position. Get this tank moving before it takes any more fire. And they're getting ready for a counterattack. We can use some artillery fire here and just hit any of their units coming through. This is a lot of fire, but they've got some serious troops moving at us. Where's my other tank? So they, all right, we're winning this trench now, good. And they're moving their stormtroopers, flamethrowers, whatever, in the open at us, which is exactly what we want them to do, because that's when they're easiest to kill. And they attacked an elite trench for us with regular infantry, so that battle's going to be over quick. Let's drop more artillery on these guys coming to back them up, and we now have this control point covered. Let's pull this tank back so we don't lose it. We still have our heavy tank up here that's gonna provide some support for us. We might lose this back trench, but that's not too big of a deal. It's just a route to the blockhouse, and our tank's gonna provide fire support in that trench. They won't be able to retake it. So this company is surprisingly resilient. There we go. Now they ran, and we'll be able to take them out now that they're out of the trench. So let's get some reinforcements in here. Get some more guys ready to push forward to the next set of trenches. We've got the supplies. We can keep hitting them with artillery anytime they move forward on us. And also work on their existing trenches. Might also be worth it to start rotating out some companies that are heavily damaged. We've got the supplies for it. We've got the companies in reserve for it. I think it's a good idea. And anywhere they show up, we've got troops there to counter them. Plus we have the morale bonus from tanks nearby. They've got a penalty from it. We're set. All right, next line is going to be moving along the back and going for their command trench. That's our next objective. So let's get the troops in position to do that one. Want to make sure I've got the right setup for where they're going. There we go. Okay. Just don't want to get myself lost here. Keep pulling guys back that are beat up. And these guys are in position to contest us, so I'll hit them with artillery. Once they're beat up and this barrage is over, then I'll send in the infantry to mop up. And this looks like a good opportunity to take this next trench, so I'm going to do that. There we go. They are weak, so I'll move up and make that next move. This trench is ours. So is this one. Now this could get tough because they've got a fresh raider company hitting our guys. Good news is we're keeping this raider company suppressed, so they won't be able to counter our guys moving on them right now. Oof, they're throwing a third raider company into this battle, so we're not going to be able to hold it. These guys are going to lose. Let's bring in some flamethrower companies. So as soon as we lose this trench, I'll send over the next wave, take it right back. We've got fresh troops to counter up now. There we go, they sent raiders at us in this back line again. Similar story. I don't think they'll be able to hold it. Let's just keep rotating, making sure that we're fresh. I've tried to bypass this front line before, thinking they wouldn't be a problem, but every time they've ended up to be a problem. I'll also bring up some raiders to help take that command trench. There we go, knocking out their artillery. Worth it for the points. And let's see, let's get these stormtroopers up. Who else is over on this right side? We got some fresh regulars that I can call up. Anyone else back here? No, not really. Let's retreat these regulars since they are pretty beat up. Alright, heavy field artillery is destroyed. Great. They're hitting my flamethrowers. I'm going to try to suppress them. Let my guys get to their trench, hopefully. I'll send my raiders up to the command trench. They're the best ones suited for that job. We blasted a giant hole in the middle of this elite company, or this regular company. I think we're far enough away we shouldn't take too many hits. It's too late now. There we go, and the raiders should take this one no problem. Or maybe I spoke too soon. As soon as the first company breaks, I will send my next one in. And this is going to be surprisingly tough. I was not expecting to lose grenadiers here. But now we've got it. Now it's ours. Alright, I'm going to keep hitting this trench with artillery. So who do we have now? Let's keep moving up. I guess across would be more accurate. We will send our stormtroopers right across and into this trench. Should clear this out pretty quick. There we go. I actually took some surprising casualties there. So now that trench is clear. We are taking the command trench, and we're going to have to ride this trench right across. I think I'm just going to send a tank to obliterate that trench. I don't really feel like dealing with it anymore. There we go, we got one who's running now. Now we have a second running. And we'll move up and get this third.
Wir haben neue Befehle. An die Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuerstellung einnehmen. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen.
Let's get these guys retreated. They are worn out. They've had it. There we go. It's a good use for the tanks, just kind of doing mop-up trench clearing. I'm not sure exactly what I need next, so I'm just going to call in more troops to get them moving. I don't know if they'll be in the right spot. I can see they're sending reinforcements at me, so I'm going to start dropping artillery at the intersection of these trenches so that they're arriving at my trenches beat up. Let's get my tank in there so that as soon as they get in range, we can start firing at them in the trenches. It's going to be real tough for them to even make it to my guys like this. Now we can move up and take that next trench.
Verstärkung macht Meldung.
8 minutes, 1 command point left to take. But they are very low on supplies. Look at that force bar. They lost their command trench. They've lost a ton of troops. So we've got a mortar over here.
Bereit für Aufklärungsmission.
Taking fire. It's gonna happen. We're gonna start dropping artillery on where I think their troops are. And we've got a recon plane coming in. I'm also gonna send a harassment plane and a bomber. Pretty serious air missions coming in. Let's see what we can find. So there's that field mortar. Here's another field mortar. And we can't reach it with our light artillery. Neither gun. But we can just leave our tank here and eat up their troops coming at us. And finally, we have a plane that is actually dropping bombs. This is beautiful.
Feuerstellung einnehmen. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Vorwärts.
So now it's going to get a little tricky to capture more ground.
Achtung, in Stellung gehen. Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit an der Linie. Wir haben neue Befehle.
We've got to keep moving up in the trenches. There we go. We've got heavy guns here. Got to keep the pressure on. And we are right now, actually. This is pretty solid. We have a really good amount of pressure on them. We've got our bombers doing harassment. We have tanks pouring fire into these trenches. They're having a rough time. I just need to keep the pressure up so that we can keep capturing ground before they can regroup. Hopefully we can keep this up and not end up losing any of these trenches. Request to surrender. This is huge. We did it. We captured Verdun. This is going to be a big hit to their national will. We've captured a big point that we've been fighting for I don't know how long. It's got to be a year in game. Take a look at these stats. We actually lost a lot more infantry than they did. But, oh no, wait, I'm looking at it the wrong way. Yeah, they lost more infantry than we did, We've got a field hospital, great victory. So we get that plus 10 for morale. They get minus 13. We get us some supply boosts here, get some gold boosts. This is a huge victory for us. And there we go, plus 11, minus 13. Verdun is captured. Let's take a look, down to almost 200 for their national will. And the big thing here now is that we can redeploy all of these troops we had concentrated on Verdun.
Bereit machen. Wir brechen auf.
So we can send some tanks, planes, siege artillery,
Warten auf Befehle. Wir müssen
a couple
los.
corps of infantry from here.
Bereit machen.
And we can kind of distribute these other guys as needed. Let's see. So we can capture Hasbrook next. I think that would be a good one. Let's see. Might even be able to cut them off at Calais. Yeah, let's shift this focus back north, I think. Because if we want to get to Paris, these are some pretty solid points here with 4 stars, where we can cut off in the north here, where it's lighter. So let's prepare for that attack next.
Achtung! Jetzt aber im Laufschritt.
And we'll send
Befehle gehen. Wir haben neue Befehle.
a bunch of these troops to Lille.
Los geht's.
And Metz.
Bereit
Let's
für
see what Metz
Befehle.
has.
Wir haben neue Befehle.
Send some of these troops from Metz to Ypres.
Setzt sie unter Dampf.
Stenay is used. Verdun is used. These troops, let's send them to Arras.
Warten auf Befehle. Ausrücken.
So now we're able to redistribute those troops that we used to take Verdun. Probably should have reinforced around the edges here, but oh well. Let's end this turn, see if they come at us. And no, the Allies are still afraid to attack. What do we have here for an event? The Battle of Cantigny. So we lose 10 national will for the Americans being mildly competent. But we're in a good spot. I think, let's see, with 2 research points, smoke rounds might be useful. Chlorine gas would definitely be useful. And then what about, whoops, let's undo that. On the logistics side, most important one in my opinion. We need the storage warehouse to get the additional core. Let's go with the chlorine gas. I think that will be helpful, especially in rooting them out of some dug-in positions. So to really start to move on Hasbrook, let's see what we can redeploy.
Vorwärts.
I want tanks and I want planes in each sector we're going to attack from. And we've got quite the setup here in terms of cash. And I just spent it all reinforcing Ypres. So I think we're set. What do we have here? Purchase a care package for 200 supply. Let's call the turn. Okay, so they did use an enemy spy. And once again, they're afraid to attack. So let's check out this event. We have the local black market in Saarburg. Cost of all items is reduced. I think we're going to call it here for today. Call that a great victory in taking Verdun. And we can keep pushing the Allies back with their national will almost to 200 now. Thanks again for watching. Hope you're enjoying the series and have a good one.